Why does that look like that? Trying to figure something out really quick. What's going on, y'all? Peace to y'all. Happy Thursday. I had to remember what day it was. If y'all have not seen, I was posting. We were stuck in Vegas. It's a whole lot of stuff going on, man. So, yeah, want to hop up here, say peace to y'all. As always, I get up here and do Q&A, whether it's about prison, substance abuse, mental health, any of these things, man, life, relationships, whatever it is. Um, Man, I don't know what's on my mind today. Somebody had just messaged me, not on no weird stuff, but they're like, yo, bro, just checking on you. You're always doing a lot. Make sure you're doing good for you. What's on your mind today? Let me know if you need a vent. And I was like, do I need to vent? I was like, the luxury of having somebody say, you know what, if you need to vent in 2024, I don't know if that's, everybody doesn't have that. So I was like, maybe I need to take advantage of this opportunity right now while somebody's offering that. And I went on a little vent session, man, and I was just talking about how I felt like I got robbed of my experience in Vegas. And this might sound crazy to you, and I'm gonna explain. Let me sit up. Shout out to naps, by the way, which evidently when you turn 40, well, I'm 41 now, you gotta take naps. But so I was telling my wife, I feel like I got robbed from my Vegas experience because we were doing some work. Man, I don't even want to call it work. It was an amazing experience. As I'm looking for my glasses, with Believe Detox Center in LA, Granada Hills, and we were all excited. You know what I'm saying? You're all happy. Like, it was a good, momentous occasion, and we're leaving LA, and our layovers in Vegas. So our whole plan is when we go to Vegas, the layover is like 4 hours, I want to say. It was enough time where we were going to get off of it, which we did. We got off at the airport. We brought our bags to this place called Bounce, which was a 7-Eleven in the middle of the hood. Shout out to the hood. And then we went to Fremont, the Fremont Ave experience or whatever, or Fremont Street or whatever, which was too much for me, by the way, after a flight. But that's another story because they were doing a whole lot out there. So then that was okay. Fremont Street, it was just, I was ready to get back to the airport, get home at that point. And when we get to the airport, Peace Streets Element, guess what happened? Right when we get to the airport, CloudStrike fires off. And which I didn't even know what CloudStrike was, probably like much of the world. And our flight had got already delayed twice. And then next thing you know, it's like 2 in the morning and they finally canceled the flight. And you're in the airport, you're ready to go home. It's 2 in the morning. They finally cancel your flight. You're frustrated. Me and my wife, we like, yo. So then we got to call and try to figure out a place to stay. And it's like 3 in the morning now because, hey, they didn't tell us they were going to cancel flights. And you would think it would be easy to find a hotel in Vegas, and it wasn't. But we ended up finding one after calling probably like 5 or 6 different places. Ended up staying at Treasure Island. Listen, two things. I don't drink and I don't gamble, right? I'm not gonna say I don't gamble. I don't find joy in gambling because I'm not rich. I don't have money to be gambling and just putting in a slot machine. And everything was expensive at Vegas. Everything. Like, and again, I get it. Some people want to go to Vegas, but now our experience is we're stuck. We didn't plan to be here. So, and on top of that, we're under the weather. Like, we're just getting over a cold, both of us. So it was a whole situation, man. I felt like I got robbed of the joy. Now I don't necessarily want to go. Shout out to the people of Vegas, but it was 106 degrees out there the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? What else was I venting about? I don't know. There's nothing really other than I mean, I'm kind of thrown off by the whole things on. I'm not gonna get to talking about politics, but I am thrown off because somebody asked like, how do you feel, you know, with the elect? I can vote, which yo, shout out to being able to vote. I don't know if y'all know this or not because everybody doesn't necessarily vote, but when I didn't have my right to, I felt like that's when I wanted to vote, when they took my right away to vote. You know what I'm saying? So got decisions to make like the rest of the country. What's going on, Brian? I appreciate that, man. And hopefully, man, y'all been checking out the latest post. We got OG up there. I just dropped 2 OG storylines up there. And bring your questions if you got them, man. Somebody said my LO is getting, or my loved one is getting out in 2 years, and I'm worried he will reoffend. What advice can you give? Why are you worried that he will reoffend? That would be my first question. Um, what is the reason that you feel that way? I don't know, like, is it just an overall feeling or is he showing you something is what I'm saying. Maybe that's more of a direct question that I can ask because sometimes our loved one getting ready to come home from prison, they can show us a certain thing. They could be committing certain act, whatever it is, and you'd be like, if you're not stopping it there, what's gonna get you to stop out here? But if it's just an overall like anxiety attached to him coming home, I would say that might be part of the natural process of things. You know what I'm saying? I think it's natural to have that. I feel like myself every now and then have that thought. I don't want to go back, and I don't do anything. But I don't know. I think it's just part of being alive, right? And when you've gone through a traumatic experience, you can fear it so much that you know it can cause anxieties. And there you go. He said he keeps making these hypotheticals about getting into it with people when he gets out. I wonder why he's making those hypotheticals. So if anybody doesn't know, I am a coach. Say prison coach, but I do life coach, mentoring, all that good stuff. And some of the questions that I'm asking are no different than the questions that I would ask if we were in a session. But why is his thought process there? Is he getting into fights right now? Why he's incarcerated? Is there a history of physical altercation right now? Somebody said, my loved one is coming home. What advice can you give as far as being institutionalized? And appreciate everybody. If you can, man, tap the screen, like the live, let them know we here, share the live. And thank you to everybody that gifts, man, and joins the teams. All that good stuff helps push the message in the algorithm. What advice? I'm always preaching about mental health. I'm just be proactive with the things that we can, I don't want to say safely assume that will need to be addressed, but we know that mental health, trauma, PTSD, anxiety, whatever it is probably going to have to be addressed. Outside of that, if your loved one has a history of addiction or anything like that, then you want to be proactive in those areas too, whether that's, and in all things, whether that's through counseling. Appreciate that, yo. I just sent you that follow, man. Everybody that sends that love through the gifts, I always send y'all follows back too. But counseling, therapy, support groups, anything that you can basically create a nurturing environment, a healthy environment where he can be around individuals that don't want to practice that negative activity or thought that may be on his mind. And then, like I said, you can also get mentors, coaches, etc. Appreciate that, Raf. Good brother. Good question, though. And that's legit. A lot of people have the same questions. That's why I'm always telling people on the lives, ask your questions. Bring your conversation. What are some concerns you have? Maybe you just want to learn about a situation. Maybe you've seen something in the content that I've been doing. You're like, is that real? Is that a true story? By the way, OG is based off, well, two actually OGs, but I would say 90% one, 10% other. Are there actual faithful men in prison? Another influencer on here claims they're not all the same. Who's that girl? Yeah. There's faithful men in prison out here. There's men that cheat in prison and out here. It's just it comes to the individual, his mindset, and does he not want to jeopardize losing the relationship with the person he has? I'm sorry that influencer is saying that, but he's not qualified to speak on everybody. That's the thing. And you got to think, just statistically, it's kind of hard for all men to be in prison talking to multiple women because it's just not set up like that. But yeah, he that's off. I wonder who. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter. Do I think that there's guys in there playing games? Oh yeah, for sure. Just like out here. You know what I'm saying? Do I think there's guys that are manipulating the situation? Oh yeah. But do I think it's reversed? Do I think there's women that are cheating on the guys that they're with while the guys are locked up too? You better believe it, because I've seen it more than a few times. So it's a two-way street. It's up to both individuals to figure out if they want to be faithful and committed. And that's it. Incarceration, that should not be something that determines if you're going to be faithful in your relationship or not. Not that you're saying that, but what are some things that you got from prison that feel you may never recover from? Randy, the good brother. I don't know. Probably my hyper awareness. I wasn't hyper aware prior to my incarceration. Now I'm like a security guard everywhere I go. But I don't consider that as something that is negative in my life. I don't allow it to overconsume me. But other than that, nothing. Initially, when I came home, I had some habits that eventually I was able to get rid of. Let me think. I used to have to close all the doors in my house at night before I went to sleep. I don't know why. It was just, only thing I could think of is because I had lived for so long in a cell. I don't know. But I think when I laid down at night, there was another thought about me not being able to see into the rooms or something. I don't know. It was so weird. Just getting used to sleeping in the house again. People are like, how can you talk about that stuff? Because it's real. It's real. And I'm okay now. I've been home 4.5 years now, for almost 5 years. But when I first came home, yes, some things definitely impacted me. I'm trying to think. Every now and then I'll slip up and use like a slang word or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a slang word, but like a jail term or a prison term. I think I called, instead of student lounge, I think I called it staff dining, which is what they called it where the staff eat in prison. Wow, somebody said they're moving to the U.S. to be with my husband in November and starting to hit me with a big move. Whew, where are you moving from? That is a very big move. I know somebody that's doing the same thing from Australia. You met your wife while you were down. I did meet my wife while I was down. I met my wife in 2017. Thank you, Antonio. Appreciate that. Who's that girl? I appreciate that. That's all I try to just be transparent. It's like an unpacking technique. Let my stuff out first in hopes that everybody else has a conversation. Oh yeah, waking up at 5 a.m., that stuck with me too, Randy. Good call. Yeah, I wake up regardless, 4:30, 5 a.m. every single day. It doesn't matter. That's why I need naps now. I took a nap. My nap time is around like 4 or 5-ish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. What's going on, Jamie? Appreciate that, Randy. I'm trying to keep up. But yeah. Somebody got a suit for a coffee shop. Brian, you are tripping. You trying to have somebody have a flashback in here. Somebody said I needed it. They were like, bro, do the prison backdrop and do the not the NPC. You know how they got the girl, she be live and she's acting like she's at McDonald's or whatever, like the hood McDonald's, she taking orders. Somebody was like, bro, you need to do a kitchen, a jailhouse cooking show. I was like, no, sir. Should I make a swole one time up here? I might get some views off that right there. How to make a swole. Been with your husband for 14 years, married 7. That's amazing. How long was I away? I was away for 16 years, 11 months. Happy for you, Yo-Yo. No, she didn't, Ma. Neither one of us have children yet. Notice the word yet. What's going on, everyone? God is definitely good, man. Are the guards cool? There's certain ones that was cool. Certain ones that just came to do. Do you have any crazy stories of me losing a fight while locked up? Oh man, what? I definitely got a crazy story of me losing a fight. I got snuck so hard. One time, dude snuck me so hard. When I was so I'm at the table playing spades, and he snuck me, which if anybody doesn't, basically he blindsided me. He hit me from behind. I wasn't expecting. Well, I should have been more on point. I was cocky. I was arrogant. I was a young dude that underestimated an older guy, and we had got to I have to go. I don't know what that is. We got to exchanging words or whatever prior that day, like on the basketball court, and I thought it was done. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was over with. Um, Came back in the pod, had went to chow. I'm playing cards or whatever, and when I say old head, it wasn't like he was like old head, old head. I want to say at the time I'm probably like 21, 22. He's probably like 40. He a grown man. He like my age now. So, anyways, evidently, what he said on the back, because he was like, all right. He said, you better stay on point. I'm thinking it was over with. Like I said, we went to chow. Anyway, I'm playing cards. He sneaks me. And when he hits me so hard, I fell. It's like I slid over the metal table. I promise you. When I fell off the table, when I hit the cement, it's like that's when I was like, came back to by that time. It's over with. He had already did what he did. Oh, you got a backup account. Oh, now I know. Oh, the burner, the boina. But yeah, I love man. I got jumped, man. I got into a couple situations, yo. Stalker vibes, y'all are crazy. The backup joint. Somebody asked me, do you have to fight when you go to prison? No, you don't. I know somebody that literally did 18, 19 years, never got into a fight. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was amazing. I think when I talk to him to this day, I'm like, bro, how do you do it? He's like, I just treated everybody with ultra respect. He's like, I just was always proactive. I was like, people need to know you don't have to fight in prison. You should have made him do 29 summers, nephew. Y'all are crazy. Did you struggle to communicate in a healthy way with your wife while you were incarcerated? I did, and that's a great question. And I also struggled to communicate with my wife after I came home initially. I had to go to therapy. I had caught up in speaking in a certain way, using a certain tone that it wasn't even on purpose. Like I'm responding, and I'm like, and she's saying it, and and then it became a problem, and I said, yo, I need to go to therapy. I need to work on my communication skills because this isn't gonna work right here. So, you know, but I think it's a you got to decompress from that environment, like I always say. So it's one of those things where um, I'll keep going back to therapy. It takes time. You do have to be out of the environment for, you know what I'm saying. So, but Randy said it. I want to. Can I post that? Can I? Self evaluation is key. You better bet it. You better bet it. And that's when the change occurred. When I started to hold myself self accountable, that's when the change occurred. Because I remember there were times where people were pointing things out, and I was like, and then finally I was like, yeah, yeah. I was like, time to look in the mirror. I see too many people saying it. Time to work on it. What was the hardest thing for you to communicate? You know what? We talk about it because we do couples counseling, we do couples coaching, we do all that, man. And shout out to all the amazing couples that check in with us and do sessions with us and all that. But one of the things we do talk about is there was a point or a moment in our marriage where I felt like every time I had a complaint or I wasn't good with something or I wanted to just, discuss that, I was automatically looked at as the bad guy. And I will say, some of the things I was complaining about was some straight BS. Shouldn't have been complaining. Tighten up, suck it up, whatever. But there were some legitimate things that over time we had got so strained in communication and conversation that when I had a grievance about something, it came off as I was almost attacking. And man, that was just one of those things I had to learn how to communicate when I wasn't good with something in a healthy way. And I had to learn that when I'm not good with something and I announce that doesn't automatically mean that somebody's going to want to respond or have a communication about or a conversation about that right then. So it wasn't just learning what to say, but it was how to say it and how to be patient in certain moments. And another thing I want to say this side note, but I'm going to bring it in, not all men, but I feel like a lot of us men, we struggle with boundaries when it comes to our partners. And not just men, excuse me, I don't want to say, but I think people, like, sometimes there's a person in a relationship where they want to talk about it right now, well, the other person doesn't. You know what I'm saying? And usually it's that person you struggle with that boundary because you feel like, well, you should, I'm with you. We need to talk about this now. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Great question though, man. Real, Elena Michelle, that was a really fire question. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I wasn't ready. Yo, and another thing, me and my wife did not plan on getting married when we got married. It was kind of, I'm on two platforms on AF. Um, but it was kind of like, um, it was rushed, but it was strategic because we wanted to make sure I can come to Georgia. So, no, I wasn't really ready, man. What was I in for? I was the driver in a robbery where nobody got physically harmed. How do you know when it's time to let go of your incarcerated partner versus when to keep holding on? I don't know. I can't. You know what? And it's, here we go. Because people ask these questions when there's a lot when the coaching sessions, all that. Somebody put 2035. I don't know what that means. Um, but I can't tell you when you should let go of a person. All I can tell you is if you're in a relationship, you should want to see some things. Perfection is not one of those, but what you should see is effort and consistent effort. If somebody makes a quote unquote mistake or somebody hurts you one way or the other, you should see them in a form of apology correct the behavior, the action. If it's something that they struggle with, okay, maybe it happens twice, but the third time you tripping. I've discussed with you, what the issue did, So you should see effort. You should see somebody that's committed to making sure that they don't continuously hurt you in certain areas where you've already communicated that. You should see somebody that respects your value. How do you know when somebody respects your value? Well, they spend time with you. They value what you hear. What you say. They listen when you speak. There's certain they invest in you. Maybe you mentioned a hobby or dream of yours. There's certain things you should look for. Now, on the opposite, if you're just in a relationship where, and that's not all the things, but if you're in a relationship where, and by the way, I'm married, about to celebrate 5 years of marriage, y'all. If anybody's like, why is this guy talking about marriage? Um, on the opposite, if you're not seeing that effort and there's continuous disrespect, disregard, and you're not finding peace and there's no value being added, then I would just say that it's time to take a look at some things. Life is short. I'm not here. Some people believe you come right back. I don't know. I don't know what you do. I just, for what I believe, you get one shot at this thing. And there's nothing worse than seeing people stay miserable together. It's okay. I feel like it's okay to let go. But I want to say this: every relationship, good marriage, that whenever I talk to, I like talking to the old people, man. The people 60, 70 years old, they've been married for 40 years. I've never talked to a couple that said they ain't been through some shit. And the common denominator is no matter what they faced, and in some cases, no matter how they hurt each other, they still chose each other. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying some people say really it's for better or worse. Some people don't. Some people say it's for better and worse until, this is my non-negotiable. But you know how much time did I get and how hard was finding employment after prison? I got 144 years all suspended, but 19. I did 16 years 11 months. Finding employment was not hard because I went to work on the back of a garbage truck when I got home, and it was during the pandemic too, so it was pretty easy for me to get that type of job. What do you know about a grand jury subpoena? I know a little bit, but I'm not a legal professional. So, I definitely don't know as much as a lawyer, and it depends on the question. Every healthy relationship has their arguments. Let's see that for sure, man. I feel like if both of you are always smiling, somebody's faking. But I don't know. It's draining when only one person's putting in the effort. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. New earned sentence credit in Virginia. Any advice on how we can get back in the courts? What did he not? Did your loved one not qualify? Did he not get any time off on that? Because I mean, we're getting ready. So I was part of, I guess, the coalition or whatever that helped fight to get some of these things changed in Virginia. The Immunization Project, 40 Strong, the SIP, Sincere with Reform, all that. And we're getting ready to go right back in. But to answer that question, I would have to know specifically like what routes of relief he may have attempted to go for as far as getting home, etc. Thank you, Melanie. What's going on, Becca? I see you with that. What do you like? Is you wearing the Life Unit shirt today? Shout out to everybody that supports and gets the Life Unit shirts too, y'all. I'm doing pretty good. He never filed anything. What's his sentence? I want to. I don't want to ask too many questions up here. I would have to know a little bit more about his sentence and all that. What to do about a 15 minimum mandatory sentence? I don't. What state is that, Celeste? Because they didn't sentence like that where I was at. My hubby been out a month and his attitude is changing. How can I let him know about no without him angry? Is he getting? Is his attitude getting better or worse? Florida. Celeste. I don't know. Questions like that, Celeste. It's really hard to answer because it's going to be kind of broad. When you ask questions like that, it's more of knowing the sentence, the crime, etc., and then maybe looking at the sentencing guidelines. But I would say just routes of relief always. Just like does he have opportunity parole, pardon or clemency, etc. For now, him getting angry, him and that like. Yeah, so I mean, the anxiety of coming home, when I first came home, I would say part of that anxiety was the changes and the things that happen day to day that I wasn't normally having to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that, a flat tire to y'all may not bother y'all. Flat tire to me when I first came home was the end of the world. And my anxiety was always up. So, and then I wasn't sleeping well because my anxiety was always up, and it was impacting my marriage and just life. Period. It was very hard. I'm not gonna lie. Peace, y'all. What I was the driver in a robbery that nobody got hurt physically, and the weapon wasn't real. Can your man travel out of state when he comes home if on parole? He can. He just got to get permission. Get permission from the parole officer. If you'd like to know Chris's story, go to his. Thank you, Brooklyn gal. I do have the entire part series, How I Got 144 Years. I also have the OG series up there, man. Opinion on letting go, holding on to your other half because you possibly have 20. Just my opinion. I would fight for it with as long as she wanted to stay in the fight. I don't feel like, if a person wants to love you and wants to be there with you at your lowest, you shouldn't rob that of that from that person. But at the same time, I can understand why you're asking that because you may not want to put them through that. You may already be knowing like they'll probably wait and put things on hold with you, and you probably want them to live a life. I don't know, but it's tricky. But I would say maybe just stay friends no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Just ask them to be a presence with boundaries if that's possible. But man, don't make yourself an island. I'll tell you that. Uh-oh. My dog's going crazy. That means they mama's home. Yes, he is torn and he wants to let me go. Yeah, I get it. That means he's not a selfish man. My dog's going crazy. My dog's going crazy. Let me go check on them. I'm gonna tell her you said hi. Let me ask this one last question before I go, man. Question for you: how hard was it for you to get to the interstate transfer? We had to be married. Once we were married, it was easy, and we definitely got it done. Brooklyn girl, Randy, anybody, if y'all want me to come back up here and do battles, man, let me know. It's 6:28 p.m. Eastern, man. I'll come back up here and do battles if y'all want to go at like 7 p.m. If not, man, I'm gonna check in with y'all later. I appreciate every single one of y'all, how y'all support, man. And I just appreciate how you guys continue to push the content. Randy said, yes, sir. All right, we're gonna go back up here at 7 then, man. Let me get a break, get some water, and we're gonna go back in, man. So Raph, we back up here at 7 p.m., man. Spread the word. We're going back in 30 minutes, battle.
Battle.
Oh gosh, battle. She might be up here battling with me. No, not against me, with
Probably
me.
not.
Maybe not. All right, y'all. We back up at 7, y'all. Peace.